Hello and welcome to the Emirates Arena here in Glasgow. With a week to go in the regular season, there's still plenty to be sorted in the playoff race, and we've a pivotal game right here on Sky Sports. It's Glasgow Rocks against Worcester Wolves for you tonight, two of the four teams that are fighting it out for third place in the BBL Championship table. This game will go a long way to deciding who finishes where. Before we get underway with all the action, let's have a look at where the teams are placed in the table ahead of tonight's game. Congratulations to Leicester, who claimed a first ever league title. We'll have more on that in a moment. The Eagles are guaranteed the runners-up spot. It's the battle for third we're interested in, and it's a four-way showdown. Glasgow narrowly in front by virtue of played one less game. Surrey and Plymouth in the mix. Worcester must win here or they won't be able to catch the Rocks. Sheffield's great form has seen them claim seventh. London look favourite for that last playoff berth, but Manchester can still catch them. Well, tonight we're joined by our good friend Mark Woods. Mark, great to have you with us. We'll get to this game in a minute. First of all, we've got to talk about the champions, Leicester, who've been playing basketball since before there were leagues. Finally win the league. Rob Paternostro's done a great job. They got nowhere near winning the league in their 46-year history until he came along, a third, a second, now the champions.
Well, you have to play credit to them, don't you? 2 league defeats all season, just 4 in all competitions. And the intensity they've brought night after night has been incredible. Not just at the defensive end, but just with that entire squad. They play hard every night. We saw them last weekend, dead and buried against Manchester. Cousinard, a 3 descended to overtime. They looked dead again, and then Cousinard come back once more. And that just sums up the kind of resilience that they've had all season. But, I mean, you've talked about their history. You've been watching that team, man, and boy, you were there on Saturday night. They've had some up and downs. It must be incredible for the people around that team to see what they've achieved now.
It certainly was, and I think you really hit the nail on the head there. The never say die attitude of Leicester, which was really summed up in that Manchester game last week. There were tears at John Sanford on Saturday night, that's fair to say. It was a fantastic atmosphere. Let's move back to tonight's action. Battle for third place. We've got 2 teams of the 4 vying for those spots between third and sixth. We'll start with the visitors. Worcester must win game this for them if they have hopes of finishing third.
Well, you've had that fantastic mini league, haven't you, for the past month, with all those teams jostling between third and sixth place. Now, you can look at that whole concept of home court advantage in the BBL. Not quite maybe as much of an advantage as it is in the bigger series of EuroLeague and NBA that we'll see over the next month. But I think a lot now for those teams is about going in with some momentum. You speak to the coaches, especially over this last week of the season, whether you finish third, maybe then you avoid Leicester in the quarterfinals. Not such a bad advantage, of course. If you finish down in sixth, same thing potentially as well. But all these teams now know that they'll be playing each other. Surrey and Plymouth in this same race, they'll all be up against each other in the first round of the playoffs. And I think for all of them, the big thing now is getting momentum and finding some form and finding some confidence.
And you talk about momentum. If we look at the other end of the floor, the Glasgow Rocks, since early January, only 2 teams have beaten them. They've lost twice away at Sheffield. They've lost to Leicester home and away. Everybody else, they've pretty much rolled through. They look in decent shape going into the playoffs.
Yeah, a little bit of a blip over the last, 1 win in their last 3, but they are a formidable team, and the big strength of them, which could help them in the postseason, is their depth. They have that bench that's capable of producing. Now, what they don't have is that go-to guy at times, offensively, particularly in the big games, when really they need someone to dig it out for them. That's perhaps the only weakness that they have, but certainly going into this postseason, particularly if they end up third, they are going to be a team that other sides will really fear heading into the playoffs.
Well, go on then, Mark. I'll ask you to put your neck on the block. Who do you think's getting third in the BBL? Who's fourth? What's your lineup for these 4 teams?
Well, I think if Glasgow do win tonight, they really have that real leg up. You see them next weekend, they go down to Newcastle, who don't really have anything to play for. They end up at home against Mersey. You'd have to say that's probably a must-win there. So I think Glasgow, on strength, if they can shut down Worcester from the perimeter tonight, that's the big key to this game. But if the Rocks do accomplish that, I think they're going to be sitting in third place come the end of the season next Sunday.
Well, those are Mark's opinions. Earlier, I caught up with both the coaches to see what their thoughts of the big game were. Well, Sterling, you guys currently in third. A win today will go a long way to ensuring you finish there this season.
Yeah, it's good to be in the race right now for that position. And, right now our focus is on just trying to get a certain intensity level for the playoffs, and that's what we're focusing on.
And looking ahead to those playoffs, a real chance you could see this team again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, with the way the league is going right now, especially in these 3 or 4 spots, we're liable to see anybody. So, you know, it's good preparation for the playoffs. But like I said before, our focus is on us, you know, getting a high intensity level and maintaining that throughout the course of the remaining games we have for the season.
There's only 2 teams in the league have beaten you since early January, so your form is pretty decent heading towards the postseason.
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I think we still have a little bit ways to go to get to the playoff form that we need, especially with the goals that we have of trying to bring some silverware back to Glasgow. So, you know, it's just about being consistent with us right now and making sure that defensively we continue to focus in and let that be the catalyst for our drive.
And they've got a big front line with those Lithuanians. How do you try and contain a team like Worcester?
You know, we got to play bigger than what we are. You know, that's what I've been emphasizing for the team since the previous game, and it's just about staying active and not letting them catch the ball easy as we can. But yeah, they have a big team, and we understand that. I think they're one of the biggest in the league. So, you know, we just have to play a bigger basketball game than we normally would. We've had success with them, and then at the same time, we've gone down at their place, and they've kind of given it to us too. So it'll be interesting to see how the game finishes out today.
Well, Paul, everybody's obviously concentrating on the league positions. How much is it at this time of year about where you finish, and actually how much about getting rhythm for the playoffs?
For me, it's just all about getting rhythm right now. It doesn't really matter whether we finish 3rd or 6th or anywhere in between, but we just want to be going into the playoffs in good form, good shape, and healthy.
And there is a chance you could be meeting these guys in the first week of the playoffs as well, so there's, I'm sure, a bit of that in it as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're going to look at working on a couple of things here tonight, probably that we might use against them or whoever else we're playing. So, you know, we've got a game plan that we're looking to run with during the playoffs, and you know, we're looking forward to this game. It's going to be another good challenge for the team.
And your guys got back to winning ways after a little bit of a wobble there.
Yeah, we had a bit of a blip. You know, we had the University Championships, which we won again this year. So some of the guys had a lot of games in a short space of time. So, you know, the games we lost, you know, we were very, very tired, but we bounced back really well against Plymouth last weekend. Shot the ball well, played some great defence, so hopefully we can continue in that form now. And the Rock's also in great form. How do you break down a team like this? Well, I think first and foremost, you really got to try and get the ball out of EJ's hands. I think, you know, he's their leader, and we're going to have to do a really solid job on him and take him out of rhythm, and I think you can slow them down then. So, and then we've got to, you know, really play team defense, work hard for each other, move the ball on offense, and hopefully knock down some shots from the perimeter. Well, tip-off's only a couple of minutes away. Mark, if we have a look at the team lineups, and in the Glasgow roster, I tend to think that Donald Robinson is a key for them. How he goes offensively really helps them.
Well, he is an X-factor for them offensively, but also defensively. Sterling Davis has ridden him very hard all season, urging him to get better. We see what he can do when he gets up the court, but they want him to become a stopper, and particularly with Worcester's perimeter players tonight. You need him to get out there and get his hand in their face. And if we flip over to the Worcester Wolves, we talk about the size of them. I know Awumi is capable of putting up big numbers. Stana City had a big game the last time they were up here in Glasgow. He's another effective factor for them. Well, they do have different weapons every single night. They've got those two bigs, Kozlauskas, Masiulis, not been consistent lately, but they do have something very unique and very different. For me, though, the key, Alex Awumi, so versatile, can go inside and out. You know he's going to be a three-point threat. They have those different options. Ishidi and Sherard Plezibou as well. But certainly the key, as I said earlier, is to stop them in the perimeter. Paul James and his side have plenty to do here today if they want to keep alive that top 3 place position. The crowd in here standing, as they always do in Glasgow, for the opening tip-off until their team can get their first basket of the game. But this is a very important game for both these sides, Mark. Yeah, and as I said earlier about that momentum, but if you look at that 4-way head-to-head between those 4 teams in 3rd to 6th, Glasgow with the most wins, they're 5-3, Worcester 4-4, Plymouth 3-5, so very little to choose between these teams. And of course tonight we'll settle the head-to-head. 1 win apiece between these two early in the season, and just with 1 week left of the regular season, every win right now precious as you go forward towards the playoffs. Well, Van der Beeken wins the tip. It goes back to EJ Harrison, and the Rocks will have the opening offense of the ball game. Davis to Harrison.
Robinson down low to Sterling Davis, and the player coach with the shot, and everybody gets an early sit down here in the Emirates Arena.
Yeah, just the thing that they want from Davis, just to settle the nerves a little bit and get going some of that post play. Not always the Rock's most effective area of the court, but tonight, an early start.
Prezi Blue moves it on. Quick three-point shot goes up from the Wolves. We've talked about their offensive threat, and they do like to fire the three up as the long pass is out of bounds. They will take them no matter what. It's about how many they make.
Yeah, and you saw that they make over 10 of those a game. If you take away that from their offense, you're cutting out almost half of what they can do. But they do take 27 a night. It's not very efficient, and a lot of teams have keyed in on that. If you stop them in the perimeter, it's really, really effective.
City fires up. That was almost a three-pointer. Just towed the line, and we were up here in November, I think it was, for the first meeting between these two teams, and he had a big night on that occasion. Van der Beek cross court to Harrison. Fernandez goes all the way out to him now. Oh, nice play from Gareth Murray with the fake pass, lays it in.
Yeah, and Sterling Davis talking to me a couple of days ago about how he thinks Gareth Murray should be considered for the GB team this summer because of his consistency, because of what he brings in different areas of the floor.
Harrison with the long rebound. The shot goes up and in for EJ. Rocks lead this one by 4 in the opening exchanges. Fernandez sits with a head fake, drives in, out to Kozlowskis. Good ball movement, finds Prezi Blue. That was a good offense. They found the best shot, it just didn't go in. Harrison backing down Prezi Blue, finds Robinson at the free throw line. Shot clock into single figures as he drives to the basket. You can't let him get that deep in the lane.
And that's the sort of thing, as I said, that he needs to do much more. He hasn't really sparkled as much as I thought he would coming into this league. His first season out of college, that's where he has that speed, and that's where he has to use it.
Another three going up quickly, still not dropping in the opening exchanges here for the Wolves. And Murray to the basket, and if you're not going to hit the threes, you have to at least stop penetration at the other end. That's why they're in an 8-point hole.
Yeah, and Worcester just sleeping a little early on, maybe just not that energy they're bringing out and that focus in the very off. And sometimes that's been a problem from this season, that consistency of approach. Paul James with his arms folded in the sideline, probably not liking what he's seeing early on.
Fernandez drives baseline, kicks it back out because Kozlowskis fires up from behind the arc. Took them 4 goes, but they get one to drop. That one as the shot clock buzzer was about to expire, but again, Harrison going quickly to the basket. Eventually they do recover and deflect that out of bounds, but PJ won't be happy with the way his team didn't get back there on a made shot in transition.
Yeah, you need that speed, but you look at Kozlowski's coming up big. He is an effective three-point threat, but over the last few games, his centers haven't been giving him enough at either end of the floor. We saw that Murray there with space in the corner, no one coming out to challenge it, and they need those guys in the bigs, particularly to go out and challenge defensively.
Prezi Blue lobs inside. City, well, he'll try and get 3 points the old-fashioned way there as he's fouled by Harrison. It's one of those, you're on a mismatch, you're on the wrong side. If you're going to foul him, foul him. If not, just let him have the 2.
Yeah, and just, you see there, just, his size is going to be a problem against a lot of teams at cheating. They have that front line, which they should be using much of an advantage. It's almost strange, isn't it, Daniel? They're such a perimeter-oriented team when they have that matchup advantage against so many opponents in the BBL.
Well, Arturas Masulias coming off the bench today. He's obviously their most obvious inside presence. Van der Beek misses, makes amends there with the tip.
And now we talk about bigs being effective. Van der Beek, very much a perimeter player, doesn't do enough inside, and you see the size advantage that he has. There we saw a use of it, gets the rebound there, but the Rocks looking for more from him.
Robinson out on the break, and again, no transition defense from the Wolves, just not getting back quickly enough, and an easy lay-in. Draws the foul, who go to the line for a bonus.
Yeah, it is just that defensive consistency with our Robinson. His speed, you've seen him already. Even if you'd not read the scouting report, you've already seen in this game what he can do. And Worcester, they give up 78 tonight. Not a bad tally there, but just effectively early on, they're really not using that sort of savvy that you need, playing to their strengths, getting back on defense.
Well, 16 points in 4 minutes is a lot bigger average than 78 a night, that's for sure. It's because Lauskas fires up from behind the arc. Offensive rebound pulled in, but no good from Awumi, and away come the Rocks again. Murray fakes at the pull-up, and Robinson will reset. Van der Beeken lobbing into Davis, and Davis was in a good position from way before he got the ball. They never recovered back round, and it's coming a bit too easy for Glasgow here in these first 5 minutes as far as the Wolves are concerned.
Look at that entry pass. Look at the size matchup there. How on earth are you able to feed that interior pass to Davis in that kind of position? That should be somewhere where your bigs should be crowding him out, and just looking at Kozlauskas there, half asleep. They need to wake him up. No surprise now that Mazulis is ready to come into this ball game.
Davis from the free throw line stretches the home team's lead out to 10 points, 18-8 here the score. Prezi Blue gets it to Fernandez. Inside, and I think that's going to be a traveling violation first on the spin, and it's end-line ball to the Rocks. It's a nice interior pass, but he's just shuffled all the way around, did a 360 without dribbling the ball. Murray into Davis. Back out to Van der Beeken from behind the arc, hits for three, and you said it a few moments ago, he's very much a perimeter shooter. Yeah,
and again, he's going to do that. In the last 2 games, he's been a little bit hesitant to shoot sometimes. They wanted more out of him. And if you leave him open as you do there, though, he is going to make those shots.
And that's what the big fella does it down low for the Wolves. Masoulias coming off the bench, showing his interior presence. Van der Beeken again. This one's a little bit short, and Fernandez pulls in the rebound. Ruby fakes at the pull-up. Knocked loose by Robinson. It's kept alive by the Worcester man. Inside, Masoulias again with a little step back. Looked a little awkward, but had a pretty form on the shot.
And he is a big advantage for them when he is on his game. Paul James, I think if I looked at him over the last 5-6 games, not playing him enough, has moved him to the bench out of that starting role. But a promising start and what they want from him here in this first quarter.
Well, he's been prone to foul troubles, or defensively a bit slow there. He's been prone to foul troubles in the games that I've seen Worcester this season.
Tracks fouls like moth to a fly, as you might say. They need to keep him on the court. Isn't giving them enough minutes. Sometimes you're restricted to less than 15 minutes a night. Keep him on the floor. It's a big presence for Worcester.
That'll be offensive. And the thing is, when you're backing a guy down like Awumi was there, the first one you can get away with. The second one, the defender's always going to go down, and the referee's always going to see it. If you watch it here, look, there's a little, just sizes him up and then knocks him down.
It's easy to take it from there, but you look at Worcester's bigs with that foul trouble he had, and almost you see sometimes now other teams are almost baiting them into fouls. They know it's a weakness, and really you think Lithuanians should be schooled in those fundamentals, but too often giving up cheap fouls, and a real frustration for Worcester. Can they do more and better tonight?
Well, they trail by 11 here. There's 3 minutes 20 to go in the first quarter. It might be 14 if this goes. It doesn't. And Prezi Blue brings it forward, pulls up, and hits for three. And that's where the three-point threat can get you bonus points, because they don't always pick you up in the open court like that. Murray, little head fake, trying to find some space. Good defense in the end, forced a poor shot. Prezi Blue lines another one up. This one's a little bit short. Fantasia with the rebound. Still going, had it knocked away. And that's out of bounds despite a valiant dive by Khalil Irving there.
We've seen early on that three-point threat from Worcester. Almost, yes, they shoot a lot, yes, they make it up. But you look at the three guys on the team, Zawusi, Prezi, Blue, Irvin, all shooting in the low 30s. Still defensively, you can't afford sometimes to sag off them. Unless one guy gets hot, you can almost let them out there.
Here's Harrison. And a little reach round from Prezi Blue. He'll not get a basket for that. That'll definitely be on the floor. And the referee quickly waves it off. But a second personal foul on Sherrod Prezi Blue, still in the first quarter.
And he's a critical guy, isn't he? Really the primary ball handler, the architect of everything that they do. And we spoke to him before the game. He was carrying some injuries. They're keeping him on the floor by hook or by crook. But ideally, they'd like to try and rest off him so he's fit for the playoffs.
Well, it was interesting there because Fernandez got up off the bench, went running to ask for a sub, and his coach sort of grabbed his shorts and pulled him back and said, we're going to leave Prezi out there. That's going to be a blocking foul against Awumi as he tried to take a charge on the pass, and he has a hand out to the referee, which usually means he agrees with it. He's not quite square up there, is he?
This is going to be the trick over this last week, isn't it? These last weekend going into, can you afford to rest up players? Those top two now have that advantage. Rob Paternoster, Fab Fenoy. Yes, Fab probably wants to get Newcastle back in some rhythm, but if you can give your guys a night off, restrict them, allow them maybe to rest a few of those aches and pains, it's such a huge advantage when it's going to come to the quarterfinals in 2 weekends' time.
Well, yeah, it's been a long, hard slog to get to this point. A lot of games to make up in those, particularly for Leicester and Sheffield reaching the trophy final, meant they had a right backlog to catch up. And as you say, Leicester playing at Mersey today have given a few guys the night off. Newcastle also in action. Doesn't look like Fab's given anybody the night off on that one, but there's still a few more games to go this week. Williams steps underneath, a little pull up off the back of the ring, rebound E.J. Harrison. Inside the final 2 minutes here of the first period, very much dominated by the home team. They lead by 9. Wedemeyer trying to stretch that to 12 and does with a 3.
Yeah, and there's where you're getting that depth at the Rocks that we spoke about earlier, the help of Wedemeyer up and down this season, has that three-point range, they feed him the ball. Worcester left him open, got punished for it.
Trying to go inside. Floater off the glass doesn't go. Good rebound from Irving. He will reset back out. Woomy fires up for 3 and it rattles in. Fantasia backs out. Calls a set play. Wedemeyer up top. Round to Murray. Shot clock into single figures, fired up from behind the arc from Harrison. Easy rebound for the Wolves, and they'll bring it forward. Less than a minute to go here in the opening period. That will be a blocking foul on Bryce Fantasia. It's his first.
Trying there, just simple things that you can do. Don't put yourself in that position, give away the foul. He's not ready to shoot.
Williams fires over Murray. Murray, hand right in his face, didn't put him off.
Yeah, he's a very, very effective three-point shooter off the bench. Very effective all rounds for them. Williams, a good pickup.
Had a decent go in the playoffs last year with Cheshire. I think that's going to be a traveling violation. Prezi Blue brings it forward. He looks up at the clock as it goes into the final 10 seconds. Prezi Blue, a little head fake, drives in, it's knocked away. Wedemeyer has it, do they have a chance? No, they throw it away and it's fired up on the elbow. And a great finish by the Wolves to knock that one down. 27-22 at the end of the first quarter. It was a great start by the Rocks, but somehow they've let the Wolves get right back into this game. We've reached the end of one, and it's a 5-point lead to the Glasgow Rocks here at the Emirates Arena. We'll have second quarter action after this break. Welcome back to Glasgow. And Mark, I mean, for the first, 6-7 minutes of that quarter, it looked like the Rocks were going to have something like a double-figure lead. They looked well in control, and then a few sloppy plays, and the Wolves were right back in the game.
Yeah, it shows you that they are a team that's going to punish you from long range, and those last few plays there, Glasgow switched off a few times. We saw that silly, casual turnover at the end of the quarter that gave Worcester the chance to cut the gap to 5. And, so far, Van der Beeken leading all scorers for the Rocks with 7, Owumi with 7 as well. It's fairly even. Now, can Worcester maintain that momentum going into this second period?
Well, they do have the first possession of the ball and almost, as you would expect, go for 3. Great block by Murray to deny the inside shot. Dump back to him. He drives in, a little short on that. Can he get his own rebound? Yes, he can. And the Rocks will get to reset. Robinson. Ringgold. There's a bit of a battle in the low block there with Wademeyer and Irving. Ball is loose on the floor. Wolves come up with it. They have numbers here, 3-on-2. Owumi might go alone. Doesn't need any help. Lays it in. Cuts the lead down to 3.
And Worcester just making their push now. Glasgow need to regroup, find a little of that magic that they had early in the game, and just execute a bit better in offense. That's slipped away over the last 3 or 4 minutes of this contest. Must do better if you're in the mind of Sterling Davis.
Wedemeyer with the jump shot, knocks it down. Boy, did they need that when you think they were 11 points up not all that long ago. 23-12 the score was with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. And it's 29-24 now. That will be a 3. Didn't know if he quite got all the way behind the line, but it counts there for Williams. He was wanting 4. He thought he got hit on the arm. Murray's shot is blocked. And Owumi on his own to pull in that rebound. Kicks it onto Williams, gets it back. Another 3 goes up. Another 3 goes in, and the Wolves are in the lead. The Rocks, who led by 11, only 5 minutes to go, suddenly find themselves a point down.
No surprise, Sterling Davis taking a timeout. Look at that. Way outside, arm out in his face. Couldn't stop the shot. They just switched off. And Worcester now making a run, being very, very effective.
Well, you think about it, the Wolves missed their first 4 3-point shots, was it? And they've been 4 of 6 since then. We talk about they take a lot of 3s, they make a lot of 3s. They can also come in bunches. Once one guy knocks one in, suddenly confidence goes around the team. That's what's happened to the Wolves right now.
You're never going to stop every shot in basketball. We know that the baskets are going to go in whenever you play defensively. But if you're Glasgow, get out the 3-point shooters. You know they're going to take them there. It's not as if it wasn't in the report before the game. Pressurize Worcester, even if you need to come higher up the court than maybe you would normally. You know that's their modus operandi. You will shut them down if you limit those 3-point attempts. But now, the Wolves doing a good job as well of getting their shooters open. Glasgow must do better at shooting them down and cutting off those passing lanes and making sure those guys don't have the simple shots as simple as you can have for a 3-point attempt.
Well, almost half of the Wolves' shots in the game so far have been from behind the arc. E.J. Harrison brings it forward for Glasgow, who find themselves a point behind here. Van der Beeken hands back over to Robinson. Down to Davis. Davis is blocked, gets his own rebound, goes at it again. Still can't convert. And it's tipped away to Prezi Blue. Another 3-pointer from Owumi. This time, and he hits again. They're just firing them in here, the Wolves.
Just defensive adjustments needed here from Glasgow. What they're doing isn't working here. E.J. Harrison there at that time, slow to get out. Every time, though, Worcester making the punishment.
Davis there, you would expect a player of his quality to have finished that off and be going to the free throw line for 1 foul shot, not 2. He'd beaten the defender, got a little bump there, but unimpeded on the arms, and you can see he's disappointed with himself he didn't score that.
but it is something Glasgow need to try and do. And I think, again, this goes into their potential for the playoffs here. To get that ball inside a bit more. You know, the RS team, which settles, I think, too often perimeter shots or shorter jump shots inside. If you can keep teams guessing, it makes it much harder to defend, and feeding that ball inside, as they've done a few times earlier in this game to Sterling, that helps. But he is really that only player that can really play in the post. Ringgold, not effective consistently for them there.
Well, as you say, it's certainly been effective thus far. They've had the looks. They perhaps missed a couple more than they would have liked, but you can't always legislate for that. Prezi blew in the corner, another three, not this time. And Van der Beeken gets the long rebound. Robinson out on the break, pull up, that's got to go in. That's just one of those shots. If you're going to take that, you have to make it because there's no offensive rebound coming.
But don't settle for that shot there. You've got a defender one-on-one. You know you've got the speed and the skill to get past him. Take the ball to the basket.
Well, I must admit,
then you get the foul, or you make an easier shot.
As he came down court, I just, having watched Robinson this season, thought he's going to go past his man and try and dunk this here. But as you say, settled for the jump shot. Very unusual. Tipped away by Robinson.
I'm not sure that's Paul James not creating some sort of turnover there. Catching that ball. Did that touch the ground? And back in my day, that had to touch the ground first.
Anything out of court is out of court. That's short. Gets his own rebound, though, City, and lays it back into the glass. No way a three-point shooter should be grabbing his own rebound.
No, but that's just inattention. It's just switching off here. And worrying signs for Sterling Davis in this second quarter.
Here's Davis from behind the arc trying to rectify some of the damage with the three. Wedemeyer with the offensive rebound. Harrison from behind the arc. He hits one.
That's the shot you want him taking. You want to move that ball around there. They didn't take it back inside, saw Harrison was open. Glasgow, can they get their own perimeter game going here?
It's only the third three of the game for the Rocks as Davis with the box out. I think Irvin's going to be called for a foul over the back. And it'll be a Glasgow ball.
We see so far in the three-point battle in this game, Worcester making 6, Glasgow making 3. Let's not forget, the Rocks have the best three-point percentage in this league. They just take less of them than Worcester do. They shoot 39.2%. Granted, not absolutely perfect, but it is an effective weapon for them. And so far, maybe not taking enough of those shots from the outside.
Well, yeah, the three-point threats, these two teams probably as big as any in terms of the amount of shots they will take from behind the arc. Murray's doesn't go. It is an important part of the arsenal of these two teams. Owumi. He's going to let one go. That might bobble in. Was it touched? Will they give that? Yeah, they're going to give that as a 2, as touched in by a City. And if he'd left that, that would have been worth 3.
But again, who got to it first? You know, you need to crowd out the opposition when you're under the basket there. Rocks, not a good defensive rebounding team, but you must start making those kind of opportunities count for you.
Robinson hits one from behind the arc. It's a 3-point show tonight. We're tied at 37. I think that's 3-point attempt number 25 in 15 minutes worth of action. They've certainly been putting them up. Foul on Murray. If he stands there and just takes the contact, there's no whistle, but because he tried to reach in and knock that ball loose, he had a little frustrated clap. He realized the error he'd made immediately. Williams to inbound for Worcester. Midway through this second quarter, we're tied at 37. Another three-pointer. Owumi, and it rattles in. There's no end to it. This is just going to be a three-point contest tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those nights you're going to live by the day or die by the J here. And early on, Worcester surviving just nicely.
Well, it's 7-4 from behind the arc in terms of makes, 17-10 in terms of takes, and Van der Beek had somehow missed from about an inch. Another pull-up from Owumi. That one didn't quite go in. Rebound from Van der Beek, and Owumi has 18 points in the game already as Sterling Davis skips to the basket for two.
But it is something, though, Glasgow really now should be trying to get out in the break. We've seen that Worcester early on, they weren't getting him back in defense. Glasgow were making hay while that sun was shining. Really, can they make that, start that kind of presence again? Offensively, it was working for them.
Hand in the lane by Davis. He steals it away. Brings it forward. Still going. Oh, he's had it knocked loose. The ball's on the floor. He managed to recover, though. Goes back down low to Davis. Good hands from Kozlauskas, but it still reached Van der Beeken. Harrison, under pressure, knocks it down.
Glasgow that time, though, making something happen. They were patient. They were scrapping around, looking for the right opening, and it worked for them that time. Now 1 point in front.
Well, players are taking a break. We'll take one too. We'll be right back after this. Well, the Rocks up 41-40. They've got to find some way of slowing down Alex Owumi, because basically if he gets the ball across the halfway line, he's looking at that three-point shot. He's 4 of 8 from behind the arc for 18 points. He's been a big factor for his team with almost half their offense.
Yeah, and I really like what Owumi's done this season. Probably the best signing that Paul James made last summer. Just so versatile, and you look at the different ways that he can hurt you. Outside, a little bit inconsistent sometimes, but when he's on his game, he's a huge threat. And that speed, and a great eye for a rebound as well. He's a superb all-round player. And you know, speaking to him early in the season, of course, played part of last year in Libya, telling us some of the stories that went on there about trying to avoid the bombs and bullets. He's seen it all. Perhaps a little bit of a quieter existence in Worcester.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite as lively in Worcester. He's 5th in the league in scoring this year, averaging a tick over 19 points per game. He's going to go past that average today. Just needs one more basket to pass it before halftime.
What I also like about him is he's aggressive in the perimeter. He's good at getting to the line, isn't afraid to take the ball inside. If he has one weakness, a little bit turnover prone as well, but that's because he's been asked to do probably a little bit more of that backcourt load with Prezi, Bruce injuries, and obviously his late arrival earlier in the season.
Here's Kozlauskas, hands over to Williams. Just a little high for Irving to haul in, and he couldn't beat the ball to the sideline either, so Rocks get it back. Rocks 41, Wolves 40. No shortage of offense in this first half. Still 3 minutes to play. Kozlauskas again gets his hand on the ball, but again, from his point of view, it disappointingly ends up on an opponent. Kozlauskas is trying to get the rebound, tips it loose, and Owumi will bring it forward. Fernandez running the curl across the top. Kozlauskas coming to the low block. Williams up high, penetrates. Didn't quite have enough on that. Oh, it's not loose. Irving comes down with it. Irving is fouled. And really, Glasgow should have come up with that rebound, and they would have not got themselves in any sort of problem like they did in the end.
No, you see it going inside here. There's the second opportunity to get the ball away. Van der Beeken, his size there, he should be taking that ball. Had it stripped away from him, and Worcester capitalising. Van der Beeken, with the height that he's got, and there with his build as well, defensively, you want to see him become more of a presence. At college, he was an outside player. In the BBL, since he came in, an outside player as well. But really, you feel he's not maximising his physical gifts, and there that matchup against Worcester's 2 Lithuanian centres, so critical in this game.
Second free throw rattles in to put the Wolves back up by 1. That'll get him a breather. Irving sits down. City it is checked in for him. Van der Beeken on to Murray. Cross court. Shot clock down to 6. Fantasia penetrates and tosses one in off the glass. The way he reacted looked like he might have caught one in the eye as well. He's sort of squinting as he comes back down court. Good hands from Davis to knock it loose, but the foul is from behind from E.J. Harrison. Not that he's convinced on that. He turned around to the referee and, well, lip reading from way up here, said, "I got the ball, ref."
having a little discussion with Andrew Smith, the newest FIBA ref that we have in the UK. Good news qualification. I'm sure we'll see him in the international stage this summer.
Free throw doesn't go for Awumi as he's looking to try and get 20 points here in the first half. This will be number 19. It was a bit of a line drive, that bit flat, but it went in.
Yeah, I've seen some really, how can I put this, ugly free throw shooters in this league this season. Some very unconventional techniques.
Yeah.
Sometimes they work for you.
Well, that's the thing, is it doesn't matter how it goes in as long as it goes in. They don't draw pictures on the stat sheet. Davis.
Still miss those underarm free throws.
Yeah. It's amazing that there's like nobody in the world seems to do it.
That's the embarrassment factor, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. But I've seen people who deliberately bank it in from the free throw line, which doesn't look right, but they do it deliberately, as Robinson is called for a traveling violation. Just over a minute to go here in the first half. Tied at 43, explosive first half. Look back at the traveling violation. You can see his left foot was lifted before the ball went down. And City's going to be replaced by Masulius, so Kozlauskas runs down court to inbound the ball.
Worcester going big here. See, can they sneak this advantage going into the second half?
Prezi Blue. There's a foul called off the ball. I think it's offensive. I was looking the other way, and I think it's Masulius who's been called for it. Yeah, just fighting for position with Davis. He had a look of, I've never seen that call before.
They all have that look.
Yeah.
Taught in college.
Taught in the gyms of Lithuania, that's for sure. Prezi Blue. Fernandez drives baseline. Needs some help now. Gets it back out to Kozlauskas. Kozlauskas is called for the offensive foul as he just tried to wave off Wedemeyer. You can see he wasn't happy with the contact, and he sort of pushed away at him, which is what the referee saw, and that's what he called him for.
Well, that's where they're giving away cheap fouls, and that's where Paul James struggles sometimes to keep his bigs on the floor when you really think they can be effective and can really be effective in this game. Don't want them picking up that kind of cheap foul.
Well, Worcester should get one back here as we go into the dying seconds, and they can have a look at the game clock because the shot clock's been switched off. Prezi Blue with 10 to go. Chance for the Wolves to tie it, maybe even take the lead. It goes inside to Masulius, and they do tie it, and that will be it for the first half. And well, it was an explosive start by the Rocks, great recovery by the Wolves, and then they've been slugging it out pretty much basket for basket since then, Mark.
It's just been hard to catch your breath, hasn't it? Just one big shot after another, an offensive game, defensive breakdowns. Perhaps, though, in the second half, whoever plays the best D will come out on top.
Well, that certainly looks to be the case. Somebody's got to get out and defend the three-point line, that's for sure. We're at the half here in Glasgow. It's the Rocks 45, the Wolves 45. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Glasgow, where Alex Awumi had an impressive first half there, shooting 60% from the floor, 50% from the three-point line, 19 points and 5 rebounds. I mean, you tipped us off at the start of the show, Mark. He was going to have a big game, and he certainly has delivered for you.
Yeah, and again, you know, his versatility can hurt you inside, he can hurt you outside, he can get to the line. Glasgow haven't really done a very good job of shutting down the basic Worcester threats. We saw them early on, 21-8 in front in that early going in the first quarter. Since then, it's been all Wolves, time and again. Opportunities aplenty in the perimeter. They've punished Glasgow. You imagine at halftime, Sterling Davis will have been hammering home to his side. Remember what we told you, remember what they can do, and let's start taking away some of Worcester's strengths.
Well, that's the thing. If they can start the second half as they did the first, the Rocks, they'll be doing well. They'll just have to know where the three-point line is. Defensively, they get away with a bit of a lucky one there. That should have been a turnover. Somehow they stole it back. Robinson taking it inside. Davis for three, and it was a three-point shootout in the first half. It's continued in the second.
Yeah, it's only a second three-point attempt of this game, but they're good offense around the perimeter. Ball movement, just making sure you waited until you got the best possible opportunity, and then they made it count.
A Wumi shot doesn't go. Van der Beeken after the glass. Pulls in the rebound. Robinson, little head fake, drives in. Is challenged on the shot. And the rebound pulled in by City. Referees adjudge that to have touched nobody, and the pass goes straight out of bounds for a Wumi, and it will be a Rocks ball.
The other thing you want to see out of Glasgow in this second half is just being able to be much more aggressive offensively. We didn't see it enough in that first half. We want to see them put the ball in the post a little bit more and keep Worcester guessing.
Harrison drives into the baseline, little pull-up, and that shot's pretty much guaranteed for E.J. Harrison.
We saw it though, if you can establish it there, whether you're posting up or taking the ball down low, you will get opportunities against Worcester. They are slow in that rotation, particularly amongst their bigs. Harrison are showing exactly imagine what the Rocks are looking for in the second half.
Well, the Wolves have come out sloppy here, haven't they, in this second half? You had that last one that may have deflected off Masulius out of bounds. That one's overcooked straight out of bounds. So they've not quite come out of the locker room yet, 90 seconds in. Davis backing down. He's a hard man to stop in that low block. He's so strong. And sometimes that's the only way you can stop him, by fouling him.
Well, you see there a Chidi going up against Davis. And you talked there about the second half a little bit sloppy. Fatigue factor, I think, has been a problem for Worcester in their last few games. Only won one of their last four, and a lot of that team just a few weeks ago were involved in the Bucks, the students' finals, the final 8 of that competition. So they went through a week where they're playing a lot of basketball. Some of the rest of the squad had the week off, and since then you think momentum's been a little bit different to recapture, and there is that fatigue factor for those who were involved in it, like a cheater.
But Davis makes them both for the line. Lead is out to 7. They've scored the first 7 points here. It was tied at 45 at the start of this half. I'm not even sure Worcester have got a shot off, have they, in this second half yet?
Certainly a different Worcester coming out here. Just a little bit noticeably less energy. Paul James there pondering the problem. What can you change? How can you G your side back up and relight that spark?
Lobbed in towards Masulis, who gets in low, and he's blocked by Robinson. Came off the Glasgow man last. It's out of bounds, and it's end line ball to the Rocks. And after this, Masulis had that same look. He looked like he got blocked twice there, actually.
They were just swarming around in Van der Beeken and Robinson. We talked about Robinson's defensive abilities. He's got that athleticism, he can get up. Couldn't stop him there, though.
No, they couldn't stop him. They kind of gave him, it was a bit weird because the way they defended him, they gave him the inside spin as if to send him towards E.J. Harrison on the help.
There he is. He took it between the two of them in there, just using his strength. And that's where he has that advantage, and we didn't see enough of it in the first half. Now he gets to go to the line.
He converts that. The Wolves certainly needed that. Took them 2 minutes to get on the board here in the second half. Murray, goes the other way. Nice play, goes up for the jam. He was challenged, and really the lay-in might have been a better option. Offensive foul called for a hook on Masulius, and he has, he's had that look 3 or 4 times in this game, like, what else can I do?
I guess he's so used to being fouls called against him, almost isn't maybe as aggressive as he'd like to be, only picking up his second
Let's see if we
game
can see
there.
here on the replay. Oh, he's sort of got him pinned down.
But he has position, so you want to be smarter there. You want to make sure you're in the right place. Ball's coming to you, take advantage of it. Don't give away the foul.
EJ walked with it. So it'll be a Wolves ball from the side. Scrappy opening 2.5 minutes here. You see EJ just dribbled it and then not quite sure. He might have got the pass off in time. The referee, it certainly looked illegal. Masulis into the little fall away, and Robinson will let that go out of bounds because it's a Rocks possession.
No, just smarter interior defense there, just pushing him away a little bit from the basket, forcing him to take the shot off balance. And a player perhaps not playing with enough confidence at the moment.
Good pass back from Harrison. Ball movement finds Davis cutting to the hole. Gets it onto Robinson. Robinson forced out of the shot. Gets it to Davis, and they just kept looking for the basket.
There you saw that shot. It came off in the end, that possession for them then. But Van der Beeken, when he had the ball inside, you want to just take it to the basket. You've got the size. He's got enough quickness to get the easier score early on.
Masulis again, nice. He drew all the defense, saw Awumi open underneath, and he gave it to his teammate to lay it in for two. Harrison onto Davis. Robinson open in the corner, drives in. Robinson goes up for the jam. And couldn't quite thrush it down. They're definitely looking to feed the bear inside at the minute. Masulis is their go-to option here, the Wolves. He's been very effective in the last few minutes.
And that's when you got opposition there that aren't active in the middle, that aren't really strong in the middle and aggressive in the middle. They're feeding the ball through. Worcester, three-point shots not falling in this early stage. They're moving to plan B, and it's been very effective so far.
Davis from behind the arc for three, a little short on that one. Oh, that wasn't meant for a City, it was meant for Prezi Blue, but he didn't realize that. And Murray, will they give him that? No, it was a long way away from the basket. He says he picked it up, but it's when you're 12, 14 feet from the hole, when you pick the ball up, there's the contact. I actually still dribbled the ball. So that's a good call by the referee. Home fans didn't like it.
Gareth Murray clearly didn't like it, chatting about it. It's Chris Dodds' call. But still their offense.
Rocks by two. We're approaching the midpoint of quarter number 3. Murray gets it into Ringgold and on to Harrison. Harrison round the screen. Pull up from the elbow, doesn't quite go. Again, Masulis, this time he's got Davis guarding him. Davis is called for the reach in, he's quick to own up for that one.
But we'll see the positioning there, a complete mismatch. Sterling's pretty good at that, playing above his size, as he likes to say about it in the past, but no real choice there.
Well, he is one of the strongest forwards in the league, Sterling Davis. Murray with the rebound. Robinson, quick release three, hits! All string, and the Rocks lead jumps out to 5.
Well, they needed that, something different, trying to get the perimeter going here. Show something a little different in this third quarter.
Robinson into double digits now with 10. And a City this time going to work, and he converts. And to be honest with you, they've been more effective at that than they have at the three-point line. They just need to keep pounding it inside. Ringgold dancing to the hole for 2.
Well, you can argue with both these teams all season long. They do settle too much for those three-point shots. They settle for being out on the outside. They have got post players.
Prezi
Don't
Blue
often
for miles
take advantage
behind.
of them, and there you see a long shot.
Talk about settling. He was a long way out there. The Wolves will keep possession though. It bounced out of bounds off a Rocks player. Got substitutions both ways with Fernandez and Davis and Harrison all getting a breather.
The problem you see right now, Daniel, for these two teams is if you look ahead into the playoffs, you look at Leicester, you look at Newcastle, the defensive sparkle that both those teams have. These are far too much of one-dimensional squads here, and it looks if you want to go deep, you need to do something different. You need to bring something extra to the table. Because Eagles riders right now, it's hard to see either of them would fall to either of these squads.
Wedemeyer. Well, obviously the quarters and semi-finals, 2 legs. Worcester gave Leicester a handful over 2 legs in the BBL Trophy semi-final. Prezi Blue left wide open on the 3-point line. He knocks that down. 2-point game.
He's almost going to shoot that with his eyes shut, isn't he? There, no one came out to him. Perhaps we're seeing the start of what we saw in that first half. Worcester get 1 go, then they make 2, 3, and 4.
Wedemeyer, a little soft hook, too soft. And the Wolves can tie it here. Kozlauskas gets it to Masunas. Moved on, and again, interior passing. Got to finish that one off. Doesn't. And the Rocks come away with it. But Robinson, little stop and go, and he's fouled by Awumi as he drives to the basket. But that hurts you as a team because it's 2 points you should have had at one end. Could be 2 points for these free throws off this foul at the other end. It's also the 3rd foul on Awumi.
But there again, just that little hesitation from Robinson. Just take it straight in. Don't just pull up, look at the other options. You know what you can do. Get past your man, take it inside. He just waited a little bit too long, conceded a little bit of position to his defender, and now he finds himself on the line instead.
First free throw is good for Robinson.
But when we think ahead, we talk about those other 2 teams in this mix, Surrey and Plymouth as well. Both teams with their qualities, but a notch below Leicester and Newcastle. In this postseason, what you really want is over those last 2 games that most teams have, is to try and find something. Maybe, can you find something new? Can you find a new look? It's hard when it's this so far into the campaign. The only way you can do it, I think, is just by executing really, really well. The mistakes that these 2 teams are making tonight, it has to raise questions about what they'll do in the playoffs.
Just under 3 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Rocks leading this one by 4 as Kozlauskas trying to draw a foul, gets it to Williams way too long. Kozlauskas does draw a foul this time, can't convert. He's frustrated with himself that he didn't lay that in. We're talking playoffs. You mentioned the Newcastle Eagles as we have a look back at this foul on the rebound. Newcastle going to finish 2nd, Sheffield going to finish 7th. They play each other twice in the last week of the season. One of those games is going on as we speak. Eagles leading that by 8. That's not going to be an easy passage for the Newcastle Eagles, given how well the Sharks have played in the last couple of months, buoyed by that trophy success in this building.
Well, they won 6 in a row, trophy included as well. We saw what they did then to Leicester. They're the real wild card for me going into this postseason, coming out of that lower half of the table. They're really finding the form at the right time, and that's exactly what you want if you're a T-Ball Lions.
Shown they can win over 2 legs, shown they can win on the big occasion, and shown over the last couple of weeks they can win many a game, but they've got some work to do to overcome Newcastle, both in the game they're currently playing and then again in the playoffs. 3-point shot is short, tipped away out of bounds by Kozlauskas. A little slow to his feet, he's all right. He's got a smile on his face. Fantasia around the high screens, and Van der Beek fakes it at 3. Did he walk with it? Yes, says the referee. And part of that is about the fact that Kozlauskas ran out of him, just hurried him to make a decision. So he doesn't get anything for it on the stat sheet, Kozlauskas, but a little bit of credit.
Yeah, we see it again here, just a smart play. He's used his body in just the right way, and it was very effective.
William's not happy. He thought he got fouled. He's argued to 2 referees. Second one says, hang on a minute. We'll have no more of that. He's still looking at him. Just needs to keep his calm. And the referee says no more. Any more from that, it's going to be a technical.
That's Steve Ferris's version of the yellow card there.
Yeah. Just over a minute to play here in the third. Rocks by 5, trying to make it 7. And Wedemeyer does in the end. They were tied at 45 coming into this period. Prezi Blue. Kozlauskas moves it on. Williams drives baseline. Williams goes up and down with it. It'll be called for a travel. Good defensive cover by Wedemeyer, was it?
Yeah, it's Ringgold, I think, under the basket, just came across. Wedemeyer hassling from the side. Ringgold didn't give up in the play. He has got strength there. Doesn't always produce. Defensively, you like what he can do in the post.
Davis. Shot clock at 7. And the foul is called on Masulias as he chased out around on that pick and roll. It's his third. 25.4 seconds to go in this third quarter. If these 2 free throws go in, it'll be a 9-point lead for the Rocks. And you get a feeling that the Wolves are going to need a basket here to finish this quarter off. They don't want this to slip too far away going into the last. Oh, and they missed out. Nobody boxed out Ringgold. He ran in. Paul James arguing he came from behind the 3-point line. It's a violation, but the ref's having none of it, and that will count for 2 as he tipped it in.
The only thing he should be aggrieved there about, his players went to sleep in that. Didn't check the play. Rocks took advantage and extended their lead.
Prezi Blue. Masulis just bobbled it for a second. Goes one way, goes the other, back to Prezi Blue for 3. That's short, rebound, and it's thrown up. That'll do it, and a great play from Ringgold to turn 1 point into 2. Means that the Rocks win that quarter by, hang on a sec, have we finished? Referee's just gone over to the table. And actually, it's a 24-second violation because there was 24.3 seconds on the shot clock, on the game clock. So therefore, as the ball didn't hit the ring, there must be 0.3 of a second left. So it's a shot clock violation. And the Rocks, well, catch and shoot job here.
Catch and pray.
Yeah, catch and pray. You can see Paul James arguing about that last tip-in. Wedemeyer to Fantasia. And that will be the end. And Rocks now wanting a foul. I don't think the referee's called one. Is he? No. That'll do it. End of the third quarter. And somehow we've got to the point where the Rocks lead by 10. We'll have fourth quarter action when we return to the Emirates Arena here. Welcome back to Glasgow, where a good third quarter has seen the home team open up a 10-point lead here. And really, Wolves, they had a slow start first couple of minutes to that third quarter. Then they started going inside to Masulis, very effective. Then they kind of went away from that, and the Rocks have pulled away.
Well, the Rocks finishing that third quarter with a 7-0 run, and a lot of the credit to that at both ends of the floor was to Mike Ringgold. Defensively, a couple of terrific plays, but also alert offensively. More of the same wanted, I suspect, from Sterling Davis.
With the jump shot, 23 in the game for him now. Remember, he had 19 at halftime, so only 2 in the second quarter. He's got the first third quarter, sorry. He's got the first basket of the fourth. Davis. Oh, that would have been a great pass if the referee was on Glasgow's team. He threw it right at the ref.
If only he'd caught it, if only he'd shot it.
It would have been great, wouldn't it? If the ref caught it and fired up a 3.
I've seen him make them in practice, to be fair. Or was that the mascot?
Williams. Worcester looking to chip into this lead. Thrown down to Masulis. Spins, gets it out. Awumi with a head fake, drives in, little floater on the shot clock buzzer. And they've straight away cut this down to 6. Davis. Fired up for 3, Fantasia. Oh, all string! Big shot. Gives the Rocks back a 9-point lead.
No wonder Fantasia punched the air there. Wide open, made it. Trying to get the spark going here for Glasgow early in response to Worcester's good start.
Masulis again forced a long way out, and there was no need. Davis kind of couldn't get out of the way there because he was going nowhere, the big fella. He was forced away, and you'll watch. Van der Beeken sends him up top. Davis goes running out and then kind of just barrels into him. Great block from Davis. Williams got the rebound, and that's going to be a foul on the loose ball. End line ball to the Wolves. That's his 3rd personal foul. Davis will go and sit down. Shulis with nice spin. He's got some really nice post moves, the big fella.
He does that. It's a matter of them getting him going often as well. You see there, not maybe the rhythm he had early this season. They're trying to get him back into that kind of space where he makes those sort of shots. But very effective, great moves, great fundamentals as you'd expect from someone who grew up in Lithuania.
Good hands from Murray, but Awumi still comes down with it. There's Masulis on the ground. Got his shot up. Probably didn't need the bounce if he'd gone up straight away, but it's easy to say that's sat up here. Trying to get that power bounce to give himself some leverage. Draws the foul. He'll go to the line for a couple.
These exciting times though for Worcester. Talking to both of us, to Paul James before the games, about the new arena there that's not that far from opening now. It'll be a tremendous new facility at the University of Worcester. Something they feel that they can use to take this club even further forward next season.
Yeah, the weather has been hampering the finishing off of that arena. It's basically built just a few little finishing pieces, but all the rain and snow that they've had has made getting people and stuff to the arena difficult to do. There is some talk, possibly even by playoff time. The PJ is saying it will probably be next season. Prezi Blue from behind the arc for 3, halfway down. Awumi with the rebound, and he just went up hoping for a foul, and Murray obliged.
I think, as you said, though, they could possibly play a playoff game at the new building. Really, do you want to give up, as much as it'd be lovely to debut in that new place in a playoff contest, would you want to give up the sort of home advantage knowing the familiarity of that old place there? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, are you asking me the question as a coach or as the owner of the club, the people who run the club? As a coach, no, I want to play where I've played all season and where I'm used to shooting the ball and comfortable. We'll get used to the arena next season. But if I'm in charge of the club, do I want a playoff semi-final, first, second leg game in the brand new shiny arena? Of course I do.
Sell more tickets, make more money out of it, good into the postseason. But it is going to be such a huge advantage for them next year. They have that great facility. We've seen what it's done for the Rocks here in Glasgow this year at the Emirates Arena. And today playing in the slightly smaller hall they have. I know in the playoffs they'll be back in their 5,000 capacity main arena. They've sold out a few times and big crowds there. It can be such a big factor for clubs in this league trying to build up not just what they're doing on game night, but night after night and day after day throughout the entire season and throughout the entire year.
Well, I mean, it's a tremendous game night atmosphere when you come up here to the Rocks. It's sold out here. It was sold out on Friday night. They had to play a couple of games in quick succession. They've got their app and all their social media stuff going on. So there's a lot to enjoy if you're a Glasgow Rocks fan.
Talking of social media, you've joined Twitter @Dan_Routledge, and just amazing how many followers you've accumulated within the space of 2 weeks.
I always bow deference to you.
Check him out. You must follow on Twitter.
Let's get back to the basketball as Awumi makes the free throws, and it's a 5-point game with 7 minutes to go. Murray in the corner for three. Hits! Big shot for Gareth Murray.
This is his kind of time, isn't it? This is the kind of situation where Gareth Murray loves to be in with the pressure on, and that's when they start to go to him as well. Make sure they put him in good positions, and that's one of his favourites.
Oh, Masuli's halfway through the pass, couldn't bail out of it. Fantasia to the basket, lays it in. I thought for a second the big Lithuanian had him in his sights, but on 3 fouls he wisely stepped back.
And I like that speed they've now got up top with Fantasia and Harris and Robinson on the bench. Just being able to get out there, force the pressure, getting steals and getting opportunities in the break.
Harrison to Murray. Murray wants it back, thought that 3 ball was going up. He goes cross court to Harrison, who will shoot it. Oh, halfway down. Give him a 1.5 for that. 10-point Rocks lead, 6 to play here. Just a bit too much zip on that pass. And that'll be a turnover. Timeout called here at the Emirates, 6 to play. It's a 10-point lead for the Glasgow Rocks. Well, players taking a break. We'll take one too. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Emirates. It's the Wolves against the Rocks here in the 4th period. And Glasgow have the ball. E.J. Harrison brings it forward for the Rocks. They look in a good position here. But still plenty of time to go in this one. Fantasia onto Harrison, and now Murray has it. Penetrates, tried the little dump down pass to Wedemeyer, but it was well read by the Worcester defense. Prezi Blue. Kozlowskis. Awumi looking for some options, not finding any. Gets it to Prezi Blue. Not the best run offense you've ever seen this as they fire one up on the shot clock buzzer, and he got what he deserved, nothing.
Good D though for the Rocks, just pressing in the perimeter, just giving them no room for a 3-point shot. That end, Gareth Murray missing at the other end.
Again, that's one of them gotta make it, because the rest of your team haven't caught up yet. There's no chance of an offensive rebound. Awumi for 3 doesn't go.
I like the adjustment they've made. They're putting Van der Beeken up top just to make sure that there's that size there. It's harder to shoot over him. He's reacted very well.
Wedemeyer. Time very much on the side of the Rocks here. They're in no rush. They are going to have to shoot it now as shot clock ticks down. Ooh. Fantasia's okay. Took out the board, but almost ended up in the end wall. He'll go to the free throw line. Shoot a couple. Beats his man. Gets a little bump there. Kind of loses his footing. He's concentrating on getting the shot off.
He's been much more of an improved player over the second half of that season. He was very passive, not Bryce Fantasia we saw when he was here 2 years ago for those first few months of the season, but it's really come alive over the last month, taking on more playing time, but allowed E.J. Harrison to sit on the bench a little bit more. Very valuable part of their reserve unit.
Well, it's a different role that he's been asked to play this year than what he was asked to play a couple of years ago playing for the Rocks, and maybe just took him a little while to acclimatise to it. Because Lauskas fires up for 3, that's short. And you just get the sense this game is drifting away from Worcester. Certainly Glasgow looking total control as Wedemeyer gets an easy score off the assist from Harrison.
Another one of the Rocks bench who didn't start this season well, starting to come into his own. Second season in the league. We're seeing the best of him now.
Awumi drives to the basket, doesn't go. Wedemeyer with the rebound. Well, this could end up a 20-point win for the Rocks the way it's going here. And yet, for much of it, it's been fairly even. Van der Beeken for 3 doesn't go. City with a turnaround that almost went in, got called there as well. I think it's E.J. Harrison, was it, for the reach? Well, still not sure what it was there on that replay. He obviously caught him somewhere.
Looking ahead at the schedule that Worcester have now over the last week of the season, of course, on Friday night they'll be down in Leicester. The Riders, maybe with nothing to play for, perhaps will want to rest their team for the postseason. And then next Saturday, a critical game down at Plymouth. That could decide their final position. Those two teams very well matched up. We saw the other night, blowing out the Raiders. There'll be a little bit of revenge perhaps in mind for them as well. So a tough final couple of games coming up for the Wolves.
Yeah, that first game against Leicester, they're actually at home in that one, and we saw Rob Paternostro give 3 or 4 of his guys the night off against Mersey today. Didn't affect them, they still won by 30, and you would imagine that Leicester might well rest a few more as the course of this week goes on. They still got 3 games left to play in this season. And you just can't imagine they're going to go hell for leather now that they've already won the league. They've been struggling with injuries as it is to Taylor and Lisonsky and Calvo. That's thrown way out of bounds.
And I know we say it's only Mersey, but good signs though for Rob Paternostro in that game, being able to run a lot of those fringe players that don't always see huge amounts of playing time, and still were very effective at putting that together. That's a big help for him heading towards the postseason.
Davis. Harrison kicks it back. Wedemeyer inside, going strong to the hole. He'll convert that for 2 and go to the line for a bonus. Good, strong move from Andrew Wedemeyer there.
Yeah, we see that they just fed him, had no hesitation, used his strength in there, gets the extra. Exactly what you need. And the game really starting to move away from Worcester here. Glasgow perhaps moving towards getting the momentum that they're seeking going into this postseason. Over the last week, they go down to Newcastle on Friday night. What will the Eagles have that playing? Still with a few of those injuries, and then they finish up at home against Mersey on Sunday.
But it is looking ever good for the Rocks for that 3rd spot. This victory goes a long way to helping them claim it off. As you say, they've got Mersey still to play at home. Newcastle away will depend on the health, I would imagine, and how Newcastle attack it, because again, as you say, they've already secured their place. Neither win nor loss makes much difference to them.
That's the big wild card, almost along with Sheffield's form that we mentioned in this postseason, is going to be Newcastle. Can they get enough players healthy? You see the replay of that play there with Fernandez, but Chapman hasn't been particularly healthy for a while. Fenoy hasn't been particularly healthy for a while. Damon Huffman hasn't been particularly healthy. If they can get them back and forth, we know the pride that they play for, wanting to get something from this season, get one of their trophies at least back on Tyneside for the summer. They could be a really fascinating test for all those teams, especially Leicester as well, as they look for the potential treble now.
Which is why, I mean, that first round matchup between Sheffield and Newcastle is so intriguing. I mean, throw in there the years of rivalry between those two clubs as well. That promises to be a very, very intriguing first-round playoff game. Fantasia inside to Wedemeyer, and he's blocked from behind. Time running down on this one. Fernandez penetrates, kicks. Murray thought he should have stolen, but he didn't quite get enough on it. Owumi driving to the basket, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for a couple.
And even then, if that presumed half of the playoff draw, you see Owumi again there. If Glasgow were to get through, Sheffield, Newcastle, they're two chief bogey teams as well.
Yeah.
You know, even though you're managing to avoid Leicester, if you do finish in third, that's two matchups potentially, if they went on to the semi-finals, that the Rocks would be quite nervous about.
Well, much to the delight of the home crowd, Owumi draws iron on the first free throw. Second one is good. He'll sit down. I'm not sure if that's PJ pulling him from the game or just giving him a moment's breather. You would think with 13 points between the sides, that's probably all she wrote for him. 27 points, 9 rebounds, just shy of a double-double. Robinson, good feed to Wedemeyer, jams it down. What an explosive fourth quarter he's had.
No, he's been a real spark plug for them coming off the bench here as they pull away in this fourth quarter. The Rocks fans start to get to their feet here. And a very valuable win that they're going to pick up. In one hand, I think potentially third place in the championship this season.
Well, they're just going to run it down here as the home fans crank up the noise. It's been a very good performance for the Rocks. They've seen a lot of these very good performances, these fans, this season. Rocks have played really well here.
They have. First half, they had a little bit of trouble. They couldn't defend the three-pointers from Worcester. There was a threat here, but good adjustments in the second half here. A much better defensive performance. Cut down that Worcester's offense in all areas. And overall, I think Sterling Davis, with 3 games in 2 days, will be pretty satisfied with how his team have done.
Unsportsmanlike foul, the call there is Fantasia was out on the break, stolen away, and he's just pulled at him, and that's always going to be unsportsmanlike when you're the last man back coming in from behind or at the side. So it'll be 2 free throws, and then they'll just inbound the ball for the last 11 seconds or so and tick this one down. He's got such a high arc on that free throw that sometimes it looks like it's going to fall a long way short.
Yeah, they're all different, but they all count. And if we go back to the way this game now, you look in the second half, the difference here, it's just 24 points conceded by Glasgow. That's more what they like to do night after night. They've shut Worcester down. Paul James, though, you have to be a little bit concerned. He's worried about the fatigue factor, worried about the concentration perhaps of his team, the consistency of it. First half looked pretty good, second half just weren't able to bring it. What they did in Plymouth, against Plymouth on Friday night, they just couldn't replicate here.
Good victory for the Rocks, as Mark said. That's a massive step towards securing third place for them. It's hard to see those teams from behind them now catching them and overtaking, would you say?
It's really difficult. Rocks finishing back here next Sunday against Mersey. That should be a game that they should win. Finish it on a high. You think that victory, even if they were to fall short at Newcastle on Friday night, would be enough to see them finish third. Worcester, what can they do over those last couple of games to improve their seeding?
Well, good victory for the Rocks here. It's finished Glasgow 88, Worcester 69. Well, Sterling, that's an excellent result. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with just the effort. You know, I told the guys at halftime, we're making mistakes right now. The effort is there, but we got to stay consistent on what we're doing principle-wise. And I thought the guys did a good job of responding at halftime because we came out to a strong start, and then we kind of let them back into the basketball game. It turned out 0-0 at halftime, but you know, the guys responded to what was said at half, and we got back to playing our basketball.
They hit a lot of three-pointers in that first half. Awumi was on fire. You did a really good job of slowing them down from the three-point line, and him in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of disappointing in the first half the way we came out with him. We knew he was a big three-point shooter, and he was going to get his attempts up. He's one of those guys, if you let him start feeling it and he feels himself, then he'll knock those shots down consistently, and that's what we saw in the first half. We challenged the guys at halftime to slow him down, and it's not one guy. We always challenge as a team because we try to play collective team defense, and I think the guys responded to that, and he didn't get the looks that he got in the first half.
And defensively, only 24 points given up in the second half. That's got to really please you.
That's always my biggest achievement as a coach, and then for us as a team to be able to play a good defensive game. We've got guys that can score baskets, but when we play good defensively, that's what we like to see, and it's just been pounded in our heads all season long that that's what we have to do in order to be successful, and we've done a good job of that over the last month and a half of trying to make that our focus, and as long as we do that, we'll continue to see good results.
And very much in the box seat now for third, and also some good momentum to take into those playoffs.
Yeah, hopefully so. Like I said before, the game started, our concentration level is on keeping our intensity level and making sure we're going into the playoffs with the right mindset. And I think we're moving in the right direction with that. I think we have to be able to rectify the mistakes that we're making right now earlier in the game because come playoff time, they would be magnified 10 times over. So we have to be able to almost play that perfect game, and that's what we strive for on the defensive end every game. And if we do that, we'll see the success rate.
Well, PJ, 24 points in the second half. You're not going to win many games with that little offense.
Certainly not. You know of any players? No, it was a struggle. We've got to compete better than that offensively. I thought we were quite soft in the post, and when we had our opportunities, we fumbled the ball a lot. So, very frustrating night.
Yeah, first half, the three-point shot was going in. Awumi was having a big game. You were right there with them.
Yeah, but we can't rely on Awumi every game to sort of come and do his thing. He's been a consistent player throughout. I need some more players to sort of step up offensively and score as well. So, everybody needs to be a threat. Everybody needs to want the ball in their hands offensively, and right now I don't think that's happening.
And what are the key things that you'll be working on to try and improve over the next week or so?
Well, I think we just got to compete. I just don't think we compete in any area of the floor tonight. And, we've got to be a lot tougher than that. We've got to play to whatever the referee's going to let us do and, and just battle away with the opposition. And we didn't do that very well.
Well, that's an excellent win, and it really puts you in the box seat for third in the table.
Yeah, it was a really good win against a good side. We were just glad with the way our team came out in the second half after letting it slide a little bit there at the end of the first, come back with a great performance in the end.
Yeah, 45 all at halftime, and then you locked them down. What were the words of encouragement at halftime?
Oh, at halftime, we're just at the end there, we just had to get back into our game. We're known as a defensive team right now. We locked down on defense. We just had to find where we were making little mistakes, little mental mistakes on switches and stuff like that. And as soon as we got that going, everything worked out.
Apart from when you're playing Sheffield and Leicester, you guys have been in tremendous form in 2013.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about them. It's just when we travel to Sheffield, we have a hard time there for some reason. Leicester, they're just a really good side, so anything can happen against them, and they always seem to perform really well when we play them. So I'm just happy where we are right now, and I'm happy with the win.
But the momentum you've got heading in towards the playoffs, you must be pretty pleased with the life right now.
Yeah, it's a great point of the season to be rolling like this, getting back into it. We had that 2-game slide, but it's a great time of the year to get back into it, so I'm really happy with the way we're going.
And yourself personally in that fourth quarter, very active, really aggressive for your team.
Yeah, I was just trying to be as active and help as much as possible, just doing the little things. That's all you can ask for from a guy like me, so just doing my work.
Well, Mark, if we look back over this game, it was distinctly a game of two halves. There were little spells in the first period where we saw the Rocks take the lead, but Awumi, once he started hitting those three-pointers for the Wolves, they were right in this game in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Glasgow off to a good start, but suddenly Worcester exploding with 1-3 after the other. Bad defense, you have to say, from Glasgow, but Worcester using their absolute strength, shooting the three ball, going from deep. Awumi was very effective as well. Prezi Blue was getting going, trying to make that team happen, and we saw towards that middle part of the first half, Worcester pulling back, and then they were deadlocked at half-time. But it could have gone really either way in that second half, couldn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we go into the start of the second half, and you think this game's very finely in the balance. Worcester did get some effective play from their big men inside at the beginning of that second half, but really their offense totally dried up. Credit to the Rocks defense as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the way that the defenders and their team, particularly in the perimeter, came very good. Shut Awumi down almost completely, harassing them up at the top of the key, and also started to make shots gets themselves inside, particularly went inside a little more, and very effective Andy Wedemeyer there. Just established himself in the middle, using that length that he has, and ultimately Glasgow pulled away, and a very good comprehensive performance from them.
And that's one of the things we see from a team like Leicester, where they've got strength in depth, and suddenly you get a guy who might be 7-8 off the bench come in, be very effective for 5-10 minutes, just as Wedemeyer was down the stretch. That was really key for them to pull away.
And for Glasgow, in this pursuit of third place, as Sterling Davis has said to his team over the last month, try and get some momentum, get those wins and those positive performances going in. I'm sure they'll look for better. Newcastle on Friday night will be a tough test for them, but right now he likes what he's seeing from his team heading towards the postseason.
Well, if we talk about the postseason for a second, let's drop down to the other end of the playoffs. A couple of weeks ago, Jeff Jones said the postseason is beyond us for Manchester Giants. Not anymore, it isn't. Giants go into the last weekend of the season knowing 2 wins for them, and they can overtake the Lions into 8th spot.
Yeah, Lions just 1 win ahead, but that critical game between the two of them at Wright Robinson on Friday night, all to play for. The destiny now really in Giants' hands, and they were written off a while ago. We thought London even were going to push for 7th, have come through a really tough point, have lost again this weekend. It's going to be a fascinating battle for 8th place and the opportunity to meet Leicester in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not the greatest prize on offer, but certainly both teams more than capable, both with their destiny in their own hands. And you would say now likely that Rocks finished 3rd, probably Worcester finishing 6th out, and these two teams could meet again.
Yeah, and how fascinating would that be? You know, they've seen each other so often, we've seen the tactical battle. Both those coaches, I'm sure, will be sitting down, ferreting away this tape for future use. You know, again, it's going to be a very interesting playoffs this year. You look at injuries, a few teams carrying them right now, that could be a factor. A few unknowns going in, but shaping up to be a good postseason, but a few little significant things to play for going in the last weekend of the regular season.
Yeah, just a few days left in the BBL regular season. Still some things to iron out before we're done. Well, we've talked about Leicester becoming champions. Let's see how it happened. They'd certainly come to party at John Sanford on the night that the Riders could become kings of British basketball. It was standing room only. Durham, however, had other ideas. Winning a playoff spot, not winning the league, was on their agenda, and they were drinking in Last Chance Saloon. Ralph Bucci certainly looked like a man keen to spoil the party early on. His good play meant it was tight for the first 7 minutes, but Drew Sullivan and Yorick Williams sparked a run of 11-2 to finish the first period, and Riders were 26-17 clear. As the triples started to land in the second, Riders' advantage moved into double figures, and the title was drawing ever closer. Leicester began the second half by scoring the first 8 points of the third period, and their lead was out to 20 at 60-40. Some Jay Cousinard three-pointers saw them post a 13-3 spell around the final break as they moved 80-52 clear. Rob Paternoster was tense all night, and his nerves were fraying when the visitors bagged 11 in a row late in the game to cut his lead to only 20. But the result was never in doubt. In truth, the game hadn't been in doubt at all. Riders' 27th league win was a regulation one for them, and the Leicester faithful were finally able to have that party. 46 years in existence, the team older than the concept of league basketball itself was assured of finishing top of it. Having toiled away in the top flight for 38 seasons, this was the night when the oldest club in British basketball could finally lay claim to being the best. History in the making at John Sanford, and for the record it finished Leicester Riders 93, Durham Wildcats 70, Leicester claiming their first ever league title. Here's a look back at all the results on the penultimate weekend of the regular season. Glasgow were 98-70 victors over the Heat here at the Emirates. Manchester had a good second half to see off northwest rivals Mersey, whilst Worcester claimed an important 20-point win over Plymouth. Riders won the game and the league against Durham, while Sheffield looked to be peaking in time for the playoffs. They beat the Raiders 78-72 in Plymouth. In Sunday's action, Surrey claimed a crucial 98-92 victory over the London Lions. The champions were 30 points better than Mersey, and Glasgow won our main game. In the playoff preview, Sharks' good run came to an end with a defeat at home to Newcastle. Here's how it looks in the championship table with a week to play. We know Leicester and Newcastle's order. Glasgow level with Surrey, but still with a game to play. Plymouth a further game back also with 2 left. Worcester up to 13 defeats now. London have a 2-point lead over the Giants, but Manchester could still catch and pass them. And that will be our game of next week. We have a huge one in the race for the playoff places. Manchester must beat London to have a chance. They have home court advantage, but will it be enough? Join us to find out with Manchester Giants versus London Lions in the battle for the last postseason place. It's Tuesday, 9th of April, Sky Sports 3 at 8 p.m. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.